What's up, Wonderlanders? So, I want to have kind of a little bit of a serious conversation here to all of my fellow nerds, my fellow Star Wars fans, and the like. If you have been keeping up with just Disney and Star Wars the past couple years, especially the past few months, because there's nothing else to do since we're in quarantine, the entire fandom is getting flooded with all this news articles and all this information and just all of these interviews from people, from George Lucas, from Kathleen Kennedy, from just all the writers and the creators of Star Wars, and it's very polarized. There is literally two factions of Star Wars fans dividing. You have what I would say the traditional fans, the true fans is what I would label them as, those who grew up with the original trilogy and some even the prequel trilogy, and then you have these sort of newer identity sort of politics kind of fans that only like the new Star Wars solely because the leading character is female. Now, I'm just gonna say there's nothing wrong with that at all, but I hate it. I hate all of this identity politics. It ruins art, is what it does, you guys. There is a right way and there is a wrong way of doing it, and I do think that the sequel series has done it the wrong way, especially because the writing is so bad. Now, the reason why the sequel series doesn't work as a whole is because it is as a whole. They are not standalone movies, they're not individual movies, it is one consecutive story. So you can't watch just one of the movies and feel like you've watched a Star Wars movie. You have to kind of watch all of them, and even the movies themselves realize how bad they are, and they have to go in and they have to correct their own mistakes, especially with Last Jedi, because Last Jedi, like I said in the last video, is probably the worst Star Wars movie to ever come out. I don't even consider it really a Star Wars movie, despite the fact that it has Star Wars in its title. But you truly have to watch all three movies together in one sitting in order to feel like you watched somewhat of a complete story. Whereas with the original trilogy and the prequels, you could sit down and watch just one of them and you're content. You've seen a story from beginning, middle, and end. Whereas the sequel series didn't really have a middle. I mean, it did. It was the Last Jedi movie, but there wasn't a huge climax. Honestly, the movie was a letdown and it was kind of forgettable. I'm doing it. I'm doing everything that I've come on here not to do. Here's what I really came on here to do. I came on here to say I am sick of it. I am sick of the polarization. I am sick of the fans and the creators screaming and yelling at each other. My YouTube feed is just a constant. I don't even follow, I don't even subscribe to half of those channels, and I just get bombarded with Star Wars news and with it just Star Wars news and clickbait and videos saying Star Wars is dead, Star Wars is, the Kathleen Kennedy hates Star Wars, which might be true. I don't know. I haven't met this woman. I've watched a few of her interviews, and I don't think she understands Star Wars. I don't think she cares really about the franchise. If she had cared, she wouldn't have done the things that she has done, and she wouldn't have said the things that she has said. Those of you who are not familiar with Kathleen Kennedy, she is sort of the head of Lucasfilms now. She is doing a lot of things in the Lucasfilm franchise, especially for Star Wars, that fans just do not like because she does not care about the regular fans. Her focus is future fans. Now, I'm just going to say this right here. I am a Zoomer. I didn't grow up with the original trilogy, but that didn't stop my parents from showing it to me. So in a way, even if I didn't grow up with the original trilogy, as they were coming out, I still saw the original trilogy, and I liked them and I appreciated them for what they were, except for Empire Strikes Back. Again, I have trauma with that movie. It's terrifying, guys. It's terrifying. The snow monster at the beginning on Hoth got me as a child, okay? I had nightmares. We don't talk about it. But it just doesn't seem like that she really cares about the legacy of Star Wars. Even George Lucas himself has said that the sequel series was disappointing, that it did not live up to his expectations, and that it did not reflect his vision and his dream. And that's really the whole issue with Kathleen Kennedy coming in and trying to make Star Wars her own, because it's not hers. It's George Lucas. It belongs to him. It is his intellectual property. Nobody can really come in and make something Star Wars without George Lucas's hand in it. And his hand was not at all in the sequel series. Dave Filoni, the sort of director, creator of Star Wars The Clone Wars, which this series finale just dropped like last week, and oh my god, guys, it was so good. Like, never in my life have I really cried at a movie, much less a TV show. And that one, this close, almost brought me to tears. That was Star Wars. Why? Because he talks with George Lucas. He doesn't do anything without George Lucas's approval. And that is what Kathleen Kennedy is not doing. She is not talking to George Lucas. She's not getting his approval. Or if she is talking to George Lucas, she's not listening to him. And she's out here saying, oh, there's no material to use from. We have to do all of this from scratch. No, honey, there is so much material, so much stuff that used to be canon that got, well, decanonized when Disney bought Star Wars. There is so much material to grab from, and you have the source of Star Wars right there, right next to you, and you do not listen to him because all you care about is your political agenda. And guys, it really gets in the way of the creative mind and the creative writing process when all you can focus on, how can I make this more inclusive? How can I, bring the feminists, the minorities into the franchise? How can I, just put in my token character and leave it at that? Have character. Have your characters have character. Your characters need to be more than just a woman, more than just, a black character or an Asian character. They need to have substance. They need to have a character, not just their identity, not just who they are on the outside. There needs to be more than that, because human beings are more than just who they are on the outside. But when your focus is to push a narrative and to push an agenda, you tend to lose the creative side of things, and you only focus on that narrative and that agenda. I'm going to have to end this video. I ended up saying a lot of things I didn't think I was going to be talking about. However, I will say this. Star Wars is not dead. Kathleen Kennedy cannot kill Star Wars. She can kill her own franchise that she is trying to make, but she cannot kill the original. Real fans are going to show their children the original Star Wars movies, and even the prequels. So that being said, Star Wars is not dead. It will live on.